for Canterbury.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
David Shearer.
Mr. Speaker, I actually find that objectionable, that reference to our members of Canterbury, that they're not pulling their weight, that they're not representing their communities. I can tell you that Clayton Cosgrove, Leanne Dalzell, Ruth Dyson have stood, and Megan Woods have stood up and defended their communities and defended their electorates and played the right role they should have played. But I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, when I sit in this House and the only thing you can hear from that side of the House is excuses about why this government can't get any growth going, and they have to go back 4 years to Labor, which actually left them in a positive, in a surplus. They left you in a surplus, 9 years of surplus, followed by 3 years of deficit, record deficit, Mr. Speaker, and they still get that same excuse trucked out over and over and over and over. When are you sorry, Mr. Speaker, when is that side going to actually stand up and produce a plan for getting this country going? And to talk about Planet Labor, this is Cloud Cuckoo Land National, and I can guarantee that Planet Labor came from Moonbeam when he was last talking to the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, tomorrow we will get a zero budget. A zero budget means zero growth. Zero growth means zero hope. And zero hope means 53,000 people go to Australia. That's the calculation. That's the calculation you need to be taking account of, Mr. Speaker. 53,000 people, the biggest loss of New Zealand talent in our history. Never been bigger. This is in complete contrast to what John Key promised in 2008. In 2008, that's what he promised. We have had the worst economic growth in 50 years. 50 years. There has been no year since then when we have had worse economic growth. I cannot believe that this government is standing up and saying to us, we're proud of the fact that we are producing a zero budget. I know what's going to happen when the Olympics come along, Mr. Speaker, very soon. We're going to have John Key watching his television and saying, go on, New Zealand, don't worry about gold, but just get ahead of Greece. That's what they're going to be saying, Mr. Speaker. That's where this government is setting its sights. It's setting its sights at the bottom. At the bottom, Mr. Speaker. This was supposed to be a party of aspiration. It's not an aspiration anymore. It's actually just pointing at the bottom. So we've got the worst growth in 50 years. We've got 50,000 people moving to Australia. We've got 50,000 people more unemployed. And we've got 50,000 people more on benefits. That's a successful government. Give me a break. Those are the numbers that count. Those are the numbers that relate to real people, not this vague Cloud Cuckoo Land National that Mr. English is putting out there. Zero budgets equals zero growth equals zero hope equals 53,000 people, Mr. Speaker, going off to Australia. Listen to what this is and why people will want to believe this government is beyond me, and they won't. Because when I go around the countryside, Mr. Speaker, when I go around the countryside and I ask them what do they think that's going to be in the budget for them, they say, well, nothing actually. We're not expecting anything. And they won't be disappointed. They will not be disappointed. That's one great thing about this budget. The hopes are so low that they're never going to be disappointed with this budget, Mr. Speaker. So in Budget 2010, what did this government promise? In the end, this was a budget about growth, a budget about jobs, a budget about the future of New Zealand. That was 2010. 2011, after they failed to meet their forecasts, this budget is likely to see very strong growth in real wages for New Zealand, very strong job growth, and a much stronger economic outlook for New Zealand. It didn't make that either. And now, in 2012, here we go again. This is what the prediction is. The budget documents will show we are likely to experience reasonably robust growth levels of in 2013, 2014. It just keeps getting put out further and further and further, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.